Questions? Questions? Questions. Man, I haven't done this in a while. So a question that I think I can finally address is, can you commute on a KTM 690 SMC R?
Well, yes and no. I mean, you could ride any bike every single day, but really when you're commuting, you're only doing one thing and you're getting from point A to point B. Now, if I commute, I try to at least have some kind of fun. I try to enjoy it a little bit, but a majority of the time, it's just commuting. I mean, you're just going back and forth, you're just riding straight and flat, and I don't have any fun roads, at least on my way to work. So before I get into, I mean, some pros and cons list that just comes right off the top of my head, I guess personally, if you guys know me, I used to work from home or I used to travel all the time. Now I work in an office 4 days a week, so I get the opportunity to commute more. And I think now this topic is finally relevant for me and for this channel and for the KTM 690. So let's get into some of the cons. Now this is going to come right off the top of my head because I'm terrible at scripting and I don't know what I'm gonna say here. So let's see. I think the first thing as far as a con goes is it's a single cylinder. So yes, vibration is a thing for sure. I know that KTM did a great job of balancing this crank, but at the end of the day it's still only one piston firing away, so you definitely notice. Again, I think number two is, well, I'm 6 foot, I would say 6'1" on a good day, and I can flat foot really no problem. I haven't changed anything like the seat or adjusted any height on the suspension, so I'm okay with that. For somebody who's a little bit shorter, like it looks like that guy, girl, somebody on that, I think MV Augusta over there on that naked bike, if you're short, it's going to be difficult for you to touch the ground. For the rest of us who are tall, you're going to be fine. You can flat foot, 1 foot, doesn't matter. But for those short riders out there, this thing is going to be tall. So if you're going stoplight to stoplight, you're constantly putting your feet down or up, you're going to be leaning this thing to one side or the other. So that may suck compared to a shorter bike. I think another thing that's really bad about this bike is just the technology. I mean, again, if you're commuting, you probably want a little bit more comfort items like cruise control, like maybe even heated grips, especially if it's cold out. But you want more information on your dash. I mean, I had to put a second dash on this just to get an RPM gauge, just to get some temperatures on there, because the factory dash, well, I mean, it gives you mile per hour, the clock that never really seems to keep the time, and then your overall miles. So if you want anything more as far as fuel gauges go, I know a lot of modern bikes, you can actually toggle through the infotainment system to get to text messages and change your music and set routes and do all this fancy stuff. Yeah, the 690 doesn't have that. Unless they're going to change it for 2025, but I don't see that coming anytime soon. So you end up with several screens, the factory dash, a Berotec, Cumpan, and you got your phone for all these activities here. So technology is definitely lacking compared to what's out there and what's available for a commuter. And then I think that brings me to one of the last negative points that I could have for this bike, is it's not really comfortable when it comes to commuting. I mean, the seat's kind of hard, you get used to it, and if it's a short ride, if you're only doing like the half an hour or so that I do, it's not bad, you will survive. If you're doing anything more than that, oh heck no, your butt starts to hurt at that 45-minute to an hour mark. So a seat comfort seat is definitely needed. And with no windscreen or any sort of wind protection, I mean, that's what you get. But there are plenty of bikes out there with really nice windscreens or a little bit more protection to then keep you a little bit more comfortable, on these days. I mean, like, no?
Okay.
Nothing at all? Like, even my headlights on. I mean, I'm not upset, but like,
my God!
Oh, finger guns, bro. What? Oh God. So then I guess that could bring me to the good things about this bike when it comes to commuting. I think we'll start with number one. It's just too much fun when you're commuting, just because you've got the opportunity to do a lot of fun things and get yourself into a little bit of trouble. Kind of like that. You start going down the line of, is this legal or is this not? I don't know anymore. But this bike allows you to do that. You can fit in spaces that you normally couldn't fit into. All of a sudden curbs, you're like, yeah, I could go over that curb. Oh, these bumps, nothing bad at all. Oh, a little bit of gravel, some dirt, some grass. Oh, who cares? That doesn't matter. That one's on me. I'm going too fast. I know, I get it. But this thing allows you to have so much fun just going from point A to point B. You don't need a ton of road to wind this thing out on. All the power is down low. There's so much freaking torque, so it feels so fast from the start. It's absolutely awesome. So, I mean, if you want to have fun on your ride to work, amen, this is the way to go. Now I just started riding like an absolute jackass. And I think another positive to it is, well, I mean, a con for some people, but a positive for me. Since it is so tall, you've got plenty of ground clearance. So if you do need to take that curb, if you do need to take that bump, if you do need to take that maybe not so nice of a way to get out of a bad situation, or to maybe get a little bit shorter of a route, you've got that ground clearance and you've got no worry about really running into anything major. Now, I'm not hopping logs with this thing. I'm not going into the woods trying to get dirty, but if I needed to, I mean, heck, I could. Like, the Enduro version is basically just a different set of wheels, and you're set. You're off to the races. But now I'm at the point of trying to think, what else? And, you know, I'm trying to think of any more positives that I could have for this thing, and I don't know, that when it comes to commuting, I don't really think there are anymore. I guess, so to bring it to a final conclusion, would you, should you, do I commute on this bike? I absolutely would. If your commute doesn't involve the highway, and if your commute is probably an hour or anything shorter than an hour, I think you could 100% commute on this thing. And I think you'd have a blast doing it. Come on, don't make me. No feet down, no feet down, no feet down. Yeah! You would have an absolute blast on this thing. I've been commuting on it now for the last couple months, and that's really about the only things that I've found. I think the biggest thing, even though there are some cons, it's just so much fun. It's just so enjoyable, and you get so in tune with your bike when you ride it every day. Even if it's stop and go traffic, even if it's not even actually getting up to the posted speed limit, you get so familiar with the platform that you're on that the next time you ride aggressively, the next time you go to the track, the next time you have the opportunity to really push your machine to the next level, you already know it so freaking well. You've seen all the buttons, you've touched every single gear, you know how it acts in every tenth of an RPM. So you have that control and that added level of just confidence when you show up to the track. But instead of trying to sell you on track days, which I got some coming up this weekend that I'm excited for, woo, so ready to go to Autobahn. I want to hear from you guys. I want to see if any of you commute on your KTM 690s and to see if I missed anything out there. Or if you guys want to hear anything else, or if you want to hear or have any other questions about the KTM 690 SMC R specifically, or heck, anything I do on this channel, leave it in the comments down below. I hope you enjoyed today's video and hope you get the opportunity to commute on a motorcycle and live a life well ridden. Until next time, remember, keep riding. Oh shit, it's fucking hot.